comes to Hank Paulson's bailout plan, we got a serious situation on our hands. We got a case of genuine Wall Street gibberish, overwhelming Main Street English. And unless Paulson takes a 24-hour Berlitz and Dale Carnegie course on how to win friends and influence people in the vernacular of the people, his much-needed rescue plan will die in Congress. And we are going to have the Great Depression Part 2 on our hands. Think about it. Why is it that the only thing that can save us from potential financial Armageddon, this plan, is almost universally reviled by everyone outside of the administration? How can so many people, including most of you, hate the plan when I think it's so necessary to rescue our economy? Because Hank Paulson, Ben Bernanke, and everyone else in this administration don't know how to sell the plan. They, the very people who proposed it, are killing this plan because they only know how to speak Wall Street gibberish. So let me help them out by translating their plan from Wall Street and academic jargon into what you speak, plain English. Let me help you out so you understand what the stakes truly are. Because when I listen to what they have to say, I'm mystified. As I see it, the Paulson plan is not about a liquidity problem. It's about keeping people in their homes. It's about making it possible for banks to lend money to your kids so they can go to college. Not a freezing up of the credit markets. From the very beginning, they should have called this plan Invest in America, instead of letting its opponents tar it as a bailout purely for the plutocrats on Wall Street. And Paulson should have promised taxpayers a profit, as I believe this plan will turn a profit. And making money, unlike communication, is something Paulson's proven himself to be very good at. The hatred of Wall Street on Main Street is so totally visceral. This plan, which most people see as pure highway robbery, will fail unless people realize it's about helping everyday Americans, not just the loathed bankers. People would rather have revenge against the banks and the bankers than let themselves be helped. That's how much anger there is out there. You know what people want, and they're going to get them. The people want show trials. Show trials, for heaven's sake. And meanwhile, Paulson's talking about unfreezing the mortgage market. How out of touch can you get as an explanation? He's talking about saving the very guys who the public wants to hang from meat hooks. Perhaps in New York City's meatpacking district, bring back some of its old charm. What an absolutely colossal misjudgment this administration's making. The plan is not just about bailing out the bankers, but you wouldn't know it if you listened to anyone from the administration. The next time you hear Hank Paulson or any of the plan's defenders talk about freeing up commercial paper, just insert being able to buy a new car with a loan. Memo to the Bush administration. If you want to sell this plan to the American people, I'd recommend they stop talking about making sure the banks are made whole from their own mortgage mistakes and start talking about making sure there will be cash in the ATM when you need money next week. Very simply to me, this plan is about averting an economic disaster that could make it so you need to work 2, maybe 3 jobs just so you don't get foreclosed on. It's not about the need to keep LIBOR down or credit default swaps from defaulting. I know many of you, probably most of you, think this plan is just a gigantic bailout for Wall Street. I believe that couldn't be further from the truth. It's about making sure Wall Street's problems don't spill over to your street. Because if the banks go down, believe me, if we don't pass this plan, in my head, I'm not going to mention them because that is irresponsible. I think there could be numerous major bank failures. The SEC will have to pass a rule saying that the bank lines can't be longer than 6 feet. And if we don't pass this bill this week, I think we could see one of the largest deposit thrifts in this country failing in, I don't know, a fortnight? That might be too long. We don't have Jimmy Stewart, aka George Bailey, out there to save us this time. We have Paulson, but he looks and acts more like Potter than Bailey. He must say we don't want to save big banks just to rescue a bunch of fat cat executives who talked you into having the wrong mortgages. We want to save these banks so unemployment doesn't skyrocket to 20–30%. That's what the bailout is for. Not freeing up capital for more better overnight repos. Make those fat cats forgo their salaries for a year. Put them in a lockbox to be open only if they lose money. Get an executive compensation plan. It beats the show trials. The people proposing this plan are tone deaf and they are killing it. I will not let our national economy be destroyed just because Hank Paulson is trying to explain how illiquid assets should be valued when he should be explaining how if you want a shot at retiring within your lifetime, you better support this plan. He ought to know, across the street from Goldman was Cassidy's liquid assets. I mean, that's what people think of. That was a darn good bar that gave you free food if it was your birthday. Last week, before the plan was announced, the number of firms that could have gone under pretty much included everything except the food and drug stocks. Talking about, look, I'm going to spot the bear's 2,000 Dow points if this plan fails. Do you know a fifth of the S&P 500 could decline precipitously if this plan fails? But in terms of real people understand this, the world revolves around credit and confidence. Most of these things disappeared last week because of the foreclosures. Why? Because so much of the money the banks have is tied up in failing mortgages, they don't have the capital to lend to you. Do you want regular people to be able to borrow money? Then believe it or not, you support the plan. Take my word for it, don't take theirs. Geez, I would listen to them, I'd like, wow, 200 over LIBOR, done. I know people hate this plan because I haven't taken this much heat since I predicted a financial apocalypse back in August 2007. That's the last time that people have deserted me. They know nothing, they know nothing, they know nothing! And the apocalypse happened. It was not now, it was then. That's what happened. And here we are, right on the precipice of the actual real deal. Should we do nothing again simply because Paulson and the rest can't make themselves clear to the American people? I hope not. You know things are bad when a firm like Goldman Sachs had to make the deal it did with Warren Buffett for its very survival to prevent itself from becoming Foldman Sachs. That's not a Wall Street specific problem. I believe it's a system crying out for desperation. If Goldman, the best of the best, appeared that close to being annihilated, imagine what might happen to all the banks that actually screwed up with mortgages if we don't get this plan passed. To harken back to one of our favorite cinematic references, do you really want to see it It's a Wonderful Life situation with that run on the Bailey building alone? Yeah, like Uncle Billy. Maybe it will take the failure of a major bank before people start seeing this as a problem that affects you, not just Wall Street. I sure hope not, but that would certainly, concentrate the mind. Yes, the administration needs to make some compromise to get this deal through. Whatever it takes, stimulus package, help in foreclosures, executive compensation review, whatever it takes to make this thing politically palatable so that you don't feel like you're going to lose in the election if you vote for it. Make no mistake, this is about investing in America's economic stability, not rescuing a bunch of undeserving bankers who took on too much risk and deserve to be punished. And yes, I would like to be Exhibit A for the witness. I'd like to be the witness to the prosecution of these bankers. Bottom line, we need to stop treating this plan like it's a bailout plan for Wall Street buying worthless mortgages. We got to start facing the facts as I see them. This is about avoiding a financial collapse by buying worthwhile mortgages that will come back. That might make it impossible. If we don't get it, it will be impossible for you to take out a mortgage or borrow money for college, pay for your retirement for years, maybe a generation if we don't do something to get off the road to the next Great Depression. Call it like it is. Invest in America. Invest in America. Because if we don't, I think this country's headed back to the Stone Age.